Welcome to the second match of the semifinals. It is going to be the Sinister Sinastcha sitting at the 2 seed with a 5-2 record versus Bruno's HIIT Program at the 3rd seed with also the 5-2 record. Why is the Sinister Sinastcha the 2nd seed? Well, that's because, as you can see with the last encounter, the Sinister Sinastcha got a 3-0 W against Bruno's HIIT Program. The combination of Trick Room and Ursaluna is such a monster. And when you're outside of Trick Room, Choice Scarf, Basket Legion, clicking last respects. Bruno's HIIT Program just did not have an answer for that. And looking at head-to-head career wins, the Sinister Sinastcha have been pretty dominant with 6 wins, and Bruno's HIIT Program only having 2 wins. In order to try to even up the score here, he's going to have to make use of his top mon, which has been the Raikou with a 7-3 KD ratio. That coverage has been very useful that Raikou has. And of course, for the Sinister Sinastcha's top mon has been the Gouging Fire, tearing through teams over and over again with 11-4 KD. Welcome to our second semifinals match. We have the Sinister Sinastcha versus the Bruno's HIIT Program. Looking at these mons here, I think Iron Boulder can be pretty important here. Just the fact that with the booster energy speed, gives you enough speed to outspeed anything that a Choice Scarf Basket Legion can do. That can be pretty big, because that was a big problem for Bruno's HIIT Program last time, was that Choice Scarf last respects, Choice Scarf flip turn was just a real pain in the butt. And then on the other side, I think Tapu Fini could be really nice here. It doesn't have exclusively great matchups, but it's so bulky that things like it can shrug off like a Raikou Thunderbolt. It can, and then it just threatens to like do some solid damage to whittle things down over time here. I don't remember if it was even brought last time, but I think it was. And then looking at leads here, I mean, if you're going for the hard read of the Choice Scarf Basket Legion being the lead, which was last time, you can do that. You can send it in the Iron Boulder, and like haha, then just like try to get it early. And then you would have to have something that could protect you against things that the Iron Boulder doesn't like. Which would probably be the Tapu Fini's most likely thing. Eating Ursaluna is pretty shaky, because it can easily get doubled and you just want to position it or get into Trick Room properly. So like maybe a Raikou or like a Grafaiai here. And then on the other side, we did see Choice Scarf Basket Legion last time. That did work fairly well, I'm pretty sure. And then what would go with that? Thunderous can be decently to just start disrupting early. That's actually probably the mon I'm most scared of. I take it back to Tapu Fini. Just the Choice Scarf Thunderwave can be super annoying here. Only one immune Pokemon, and also max speed Thunderous outspeeds your max speed Grafaiai here. And this is we got team speed here for the Basket Legion and the wow, naming them Joe against Tyler. That's mad disrespectful, bro. Yeah, we can expect a U-turn to come out, and Bronzong lead is definitely in a dicey spot, both weak to ghost type attacks and fire type attacks. So that's pretty unfortunate here. The Bronzong, I don't really, maybe it's trying to get rocks up. Hazards have been proved to be pretty annoying against the Sinister Sinastcha, because several rock weak mons, in this case it's only 2 actually, but you sometimes see more, and they don't really run boots. You can't run boots on Gouging Fire, that's, unless you lose your speed boost, and you can on Thunderous, but we haven't seen that yet. So I'm expecting some early hazards in this Grafaiai. Maybe some sort of like trick, maybe trick or like switcheroo just to disrupt something early. Unfortunately, trick. What would you even trick here? Because if you trick the Basket Legion, then you're probably stealing a Choice Scarf, and that's not good for Grafaiai. So maybe just knocking something off or just getting some value off of hitting something. Yeah, this is just not a great spot for Grafaiai, I'd argue. Okay. Iron Ball, okay. Yeah, that's definitely a good item you can trick here. Obviously, tricking the gouging fire was not something I was expecting because usually you want to get a good item, but just saying it's actually just good enough if I properly disrupt the gouging fire here, and and definitely puts a wrench in that game plan of making the booster speed practically useless. But now you're facing against two really scary offensive mons, which is the Ursaluna, which can threaten to Oko with Head on Rush, and a gouging fire that can click Heat Crash here. And we saw the attempt to the ally switch and didn't really work. Maybe trying to trying to catch a Shadow Ball on the other slot, but just flip turning, which is what I expected there. But yeah, how do you deal with yes, these mons are slow, but how do you deal with them, right? Gouging Fire is a pretty obnoxious mon for your team defensively. You really only have Iron Boulder, and like I said, it's pretty important to keep that safe to have a way to get the Basket Legion at the end. And then how do you switch it in with the ground type, and like that's also scary. So it's very interesting how he dances his way around this. Oh, that's one way to do it. Just lets Degrify go down. That's fair. And gets to reflect up. Okay. Now you better have a way to actually KO this Ursaluna, even if it's slower here. Even if it's slow. Ogerpon definitely might have the firepower to do it. Ogerpon Heartflame, known for hitting really hard. But if not, that could be real bad. If we can look at the we can see that the Bronzon's actually slower than the Ursaluna here, which makes it so you can't really double the Ursaluna just in case you're not scared. You're not sure if a power up will KO. I don't think it does naturally, truthfully. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So what does the Bronzon do? I mean, you can ally switch again, but like then you're just like getting another mon, getting a. That's like not a bad idea actually, but then you let the gouging fire can switch out and start switching something else and start pressuring with something, which is not a great feeling. And you got to make these turns of reflect count. So with his limited turns between 4 and 7, I don't know what we'll find out later. And we see this is double screen, so I can only imagine that this is in fact what's it called? Light clay here. Let's see. So your last move has to be an attack. Maybe it's like Noise or something. I don't know. Like Gyro Ball. Gyro Ball is not a bad option here. But yeah, I'm assuming you have to have a way to KO this mon. And their Ursaluna just protects here. As a gouging fire switches. Makes sense. You are taking chip every turn, which makes you maybe you're in Woodhammer range now. Maybe Woodhammer Power Whip range now. So that's pretty scary here. And what's also scary is this Thunder is clicking Thunder Wave and just making your Ogerpon's life very miserable. But even a half-speed Ogerpon should probably be enough to outspeed Ursaluna here, I would think, unless this is trained to be a faster bear, which is possible. Okay, and we get the gouging fire back in here, and you know, did not want to take that Thunder Wave at all. Very fair here. And now we see the gouging fire back in. Remember that this thing is Iron Ball, so it's always guaranteed to go last in its priority bracket here. I think you're gonna have to start making a play here. The Bronzon just isn't putting enough pressure offensively. So I think getting the Raikou out could be a pretty decent idea here. Raikou or the Iron Boulder. Again, it's that stupid Thunder Wave, man. That's why I wanted to bring out the Raikou, because it's immune to Thunder Wave. And then, although you can't hit Gouging Fire that well, Gouging Fire probably isn't hitting you that hard. because you're probably not running Earthquake here. But yeah, I think this Bronzong has to leave, and so you can actually start making use of these screen turns. And that's exactly what we see here. Another ally switch. Thunderwave miss. And we see another ally switch, and I'm a little confused on that. Let's see. Confused on that, because, like, were you more afraid of a heat crash, I guess? That might have been it, but, like, yeah, you almost tricked... 90% of the time, you accidentally just paralyzed yourself with that. But you got away with it here. And now this Raikou has got to start putting on some pressure here. It does alright damage against the Thundurus. And again, I just don't think this Bronzong is doing enough here, man. You're running out of... These turns go quickly. I'm guessing this is a Sinistcha. Yep. And now you burned yourself, so this Bronzong is really doing nothing. -1. I mean, -1 attack doesn't help with the... It doesn't matter with the only attack you can body press, but burned basically can't hit the Sinistcha, and and we already saw a body press without being burned was doing only 20. So you gotta make a... This is just very slow and painful here, where you're just trying to make any sort of progress and it's just not happening. And there we see that Raikou coverage that has been very important here. And we see Trick Room. I don't know if Trick Room makes Iron Ball make you go first. I actually don't know this. Because I know if it makes you go like last in your priority bracket, I think the text is. But like, does it overwrite anything? Override Trick Room? I don't know. Well, he's playing like he does know, and he played a lot of Scarlet Sword and Shield with a Trick Iron Ball Grimstar also. I think he would know. We'll see right now. Yeah, it looks like that's how you get the you did successfully reverse that here. And we have 1 turn Reflect and 2 turns of Light Screen left here. And now the Sinister Sinastchas have something in their favor, like offensively, which is the Trick Room pressure. And the +1 gouging fire, which can do a... I mean, you don't even care about the Bronzong at this point. You just start... I mean, you have to play the Ally Switch Mind games, but you can just... I just start building this Raikou, because this Bronzong is just not spooking me at all here. Yep, gets the call right and gets the burn. And poof. Oof, oof, oof. And truthfully, like, yeah, like this is how do you just stop like Flare Blitz Facade 10 more times until the game's over at this point? So this is not great. This is not good at all. Running out of screens turns as well. Okay, you can get that screen up, which can maybe help you against Last Respect. And then you can that will protect this last turn. A Trick Room here. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Sinister Sinastcha just see through this. He might not even have to make a play here like that. But, like, I've seen him punish Trick Rooms before, stalling out Trick Rooms before with just, like, switches or even more setup. Like, I can imagine something like a Sinistcha coming in and just, like, healing something back up here. But he might not even need to do that. He's up 6-3. Oh, it's Quark Drive attack. Oh, so, yeah, you have no answer against Basket Legion, man. Yeah, and I can imagine this is probably going to just be Thunder Wave and then another Facade here. Nope. Double Protect fails here. Damn. That Ogerpon knows how to hit, man. And then the Gouging fires back out again somehow. And against the Iron Boulder, which is kind of shocking that he would do that. but does it matter? There goes the Gouging Fire. That's the first KO here. And that's 2 KOs. And now, let's see. I imagine something like what are the 2 mons that come here? Basque Legion can just start clicking Last Respects in the Iron Boulder slot pretty freely. For 150 base power. It's KOs even through Reflect, I would have to imagine. Oh, this is actually kind of awkward here. Because the Ursaluna is probably still slower than the Ogerpon, I would think. Like, this Ogerpon's kind of really annoying, actually. It is going to be the Tapu Fini here. So, is there any chance that, like, this is, like, imagine this is, like, a Tapu Fini Protect, and then a Last Respects into the Iron Boulder here. But, like, if you can get a call here, I'm probably just Ivy cudgeling the Basque Legion here. Because that's the more important one to take out, I would imagine. And if you Choice Scarf, like, flip turns, that's, like, fine-ish. The worst case scenario is, like, Sinastcha gets back out, and then it takes a Woodhammer, and it probably barely lives, but not enough to really do anything after that. So you gotta find a way to KO those Basque Legions. You're gonna have to probably make a play here. Yeah, it is the flip turn. And man, that flip turn does more than you think, man. Double up should not be enough here. And just sacks the Sinastcha here. Understandable, understandable. And that just taking so much chip, man. And then the Basque Legion here. You probably just, what's it called? If your last move is follow me, you probably just click follow me here. And then you try to, KO one of these mons with the Iron Boulder at this point. Probably the Basque Legion. Or it's probably just gonna freaking flip turn again. Yeah, you just have no way of KOing Basque Legion if you just flip turns. And then it just spams Last Respect at the end game. And yeah, Suicune's just not going to be able to win this. And yeah, that's where I'd argue where the Sinister Sinastcha's Jack is at his scariest in this draft leagues, is when he has a team that you can just keep on switching around and you just can't put offensive pressure on him. You know, you send out one mon, it's like, oh, I'll send out the Raikou, and then he just sends out, like, the Ursaluna or the Sinistcha, and like, oh, I'm doing, oh, great, even my coverage is doing, like, 38%, and then it heals with then you heal something up with Hospitality, and it's just like, it's not fun, man. It's not fun, but that's who I'm gonna be fighting. So, hope you're excited for that. I scammed him last time by dodging a triple axle with that had a wide lens on. Gonna need to think of something else probably, because that's probably not a very consistent game plan. But I'll see you guys soon.